Built in 1872, it was only 8 years later that St. Simon's Lighthouse earned her ghost. It was 1880 when the lightkeeper Frederick Osborne, who by all accounts from anyone who knew him was a hard case, was shot to death by his assistant, John Stevens. The altercation came after Osborne, who was generally regarded as a nasty piece of work and hard on everyone around him with his exacting standards, turned his sharp tongue onto Stevens' wife. After a heated exchange, Stevens went into his cabin, retrieved his shotgun, and in a moment of passionate anger shot Osborne more than once. As soon as the deed was done, he dropped his gun and ran for help. Osborne was transported to the nearest doctor, but didn't survive. Stevens immediately turned himself in to authorities, but his act of contrition wouldn't bring Frederick Osborne back. However, there was one thing that couldn't keep the lightkeeper away, even after death, and that was an ironclad work ethic and a love for the light he tended. It wasn't until 1908, a full 28 years after his death, that Frederick Osborne would make his most famous appearance. You see, the current lightkeeper at the time was away, leaving the light in the temporary care of his wife. However, the mechanism that allowed the light to turn its sweep along the horizon, signaling the vessels out to sea, had somehow broken and wasn't working right. The current lightkeeper's wife struggled to get the light's mechanism turning again, and remembered once, before Osborne had died, him saying that it didn't matter if he was in hell, he would always be around to fix the light, to just call on him. In a state of sheer frustration, the woman huffed and called out to the ether, "Well, come and fix it now." There was a clink and a rattle, and looking up, the woman saw the distinct figure of Frederick Osborne bending over the works. Overwhelmed by the sight, she fainted dead away right then and there, and when she regained consciousness, the steady click and rattle of the works assured her that all had been set to right with the light. To this day, there are disembodied footsteps heard climbing the lighthouse stairs, and sometimes the shadowy figure of Frederick Osborne can be seen tending the light and ensuring the mechanism turns properly, for that may have been one of the first times the mechanism failed or had broken and had inexplicably repaired itself, but it certainly wasn't the last. Today, the St. Simon's Lighthouse is a living history and maritime museum open to the public. If you're lucky, you too may see or hear signs of the taciturn keeper if you visit. Keep an ear out for disembodied voices and footsteps, and as always, happy hauntings.